Hey guys, so Apple has released their M1 Pro and M1 Max MacBook Pros a few weeks ago, and I wanted to wait just a few weeks to make this video because there's some things I think about the Mac that may not be in line with the common hype that the MacBook Pros have had. So here I want to talk about some of the downsides that this MacBook Pro has and whether it's a good choice for you. So without further ado, I think we should get started. So the new MacBook Pros are amazing, as we all know. We know that they have amazing battery life. That's twice as good as the previous models. It has the much faster processors. They start with 512 gigs of SSD storage, which are all amazing. They have extra peripherals. They have extra IOs, and the display is 120 Hz. So just based on the specs alone, it's an amazing laptop. Honestly, if you ask me, if anyone could choose a laptop for free that they just get out of thin air, I'm pretty sure most people would choose this. Or almost everyone that uses macOS would choose the new MacBook Pros, hands down. But the major issue that I have with these MacBook Pros is that they're too expensive, coming at 2,000 USD starting, and you can get it easily to 4,000. It's insane. I mean, I get that you're spending the extra cash for the new design and all that, but it's just not worth it in my opinion. Now, hear me out, because I know you're leaving a hateful comment right now, but just hear me out. I recently sold my 2019 13-inch MacBook Pro to someone on Facebook Marketplace. And I sold that for about 1,050 Canadian dollars, or converted to USD, that's about 720, I believe. Which, compared to that $2,000 price, is a lot cheaper. Sure, it's a lot worse in terms of processors, I/O, and so on. But do you need to spend that extra $1,300 just for those upgrades? For most people, I think you don't. And I have a better alternative. I'm not saying, oh, no guys, don't buy the new one, get the old ones, which are much worse. No. Just, I want you to think that only 2 years ago in 2019, the newest MacBook Pros were really good. People still bought it. People maxed it out. Now, it doesn't magically become worse. It becomes relatively worse compared to the new ones, but they're still completely usable. But a better alternative is to actually think of what you're using the laptop for. Are you actually needing the extra power and portability? Because if you didn't know this, laptops are so much more expensive than desktops just because of the portability factor and the batteries. They need to be a lot more power efficient, and they need to be able to be carried around. Which brings us to the next potential issue with the new MacBook Pros. Even with my old 13-inch MacBook Pro, it was still quite heavy. Sometimes I didn't want to bring it with me, so I just brought my iPad, which is 11 inches, because it was too heavy. Now imagine you get the 16-inch or even the 14-inch, which is still quite heavy. It's thicker and it weighs like a brick. And I want you to know this. Laptops are supposed to be portable, which, oh, that's why people say get the LG Gram and so on. I don't care about those. I don't care about macOS. But for me, if I had this heavy laptop, I don't think I would bring it to as many places as I would want. Which is why I actually sold my old MacBook Pro so I can use my iPad for longer. And I have the refurbished M1 Mac Mini, which is actually what I think is better. In my opinion, instead of spending that $2,000, you should spend only $600 on an M1 Mac Mini. Maybe upgrade it a bit. It has to be refurbished though, because that's why it's so cheap. Although you can get it new and configure it the way you like, which would be a bit more expensive. You can spend another $200 to $300 on peripherals, like a really good mouse, a keyboard, and you still have about $1,000 left over. And with that, you can buy an iPad or some other portable device, because I'm sure for most of you watching, you're not going to need the power of the M1 Pro or M1 Max on the go. Sure, for a lot of YouTubers, sure, because they go to conventions, they travel, and they have to edit videos on the spot. For the everyday people who just wants a HDMI port so they could share video onto a TV, I don't think you need the power to edit 6K, 8K videos on the fly. And I think an iPad with even just a 2018 iPad Pro is still tremendously powerful for most people. So I don't want to be a downer. I don't want to say, oh no, this isn't a good computer, because the new MacBook Pros are amazing. There's so much innovation going on in there. Innovation not counting the bringing back of the old ports, the 120Hz display, and all that is amazing. The chips, the power efficiency, lasting 20 hours, that's awesome. But I just wanted to think, if you're looking for the MacBook Pro, is it actually made for your workflow? Because I think the biggest issue with people buying new tech is that they're just buying new tech for the heck of it. It's not because they're going to use it, but because it's new. And so I just wanted to know, don't fall into the hype. Hype is real, hype is good, but if you're manipulated too easily, that's when it becomes bad. So overall, I think you should consider some alternatives before you buy the new MacBook, MacBook Pros. But if you do buy it and you know the workflow is the one for you, go ahead. I think it's a fantastic computer, and there's really not that many faults aside from potentially the HDMI 2.0 instead of 2.1. That kind of bugs me. Other than that, I think it's a great computer. Maybe aside from the HDMI 2.0 instead of 2.1, that kind of bugs me. But overall, if you want to get it, go for it. But if you have thought of something that you can get instead of it, and maybe even save some money due to this video, please give it a like. Even leave your comments. How do you feel about my perspective? Either way, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Click something on the screen right now. Make sure to comment, like, all that. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.